Hi, I'm Anne Lamott, and I'm here today to talk with Pico Iyer about his new book, Aflame, Learning from Silence.
Hi, Annie. I'm so really excited to get to talk to you. Thank you for being here and giving up your time.
Pico and I have known each other through our work for decades, but this is our first time speaking together, and I'm thrilled. He's world famous travel writer and someone who has shared his interior travels as well, his searches for quiet and stillness and peace. Every book of his is rich in spirit and awareness, both details and expansive meditations on life and humanity in the voice of a very quiet raconteur. So I love this book. I love meeting you today. This is actually the perfect book for times such as these when people feel cold and uncertain and afraid. And so I just want to say hi. I'm so glad to meet you in person-ish.
I'm so thrilled to meet you. Thank you, Annie, for all those words. I could just listen to you for the next hour or two. And yeah, I feel as if you and I have been walking along the same path in very different clothing for as long as I can remember. And finally we get to meet in person, though we've been meeting in every other way. But you're right, because I do feel I've never known my friends as despairing as they are right now, and I've never known the world as divided as it is right now. And so any way that you or I can bring hope or light to people is only something for the good, I think.
Tell us more about the subtitle, Learning from Silence.
I trust silence more than I trust most of my words or any of my beliefs, because I think it's what lies on the far side of them. I mean, again, it speaks just to what you were saying a minute ago. I think Thomas Merton, who lived so closely with silence for 27 years as a monk, said there's more substance in silence than in the answer to any question. So
Mhm.
even if you did know where your mother was going, or even if I did know what was going to happen this afternoon, I don't think that would be so useful or interesting. It's who we are far deeper than all our notions that I think is the
Mhm.
richest part of us. And I find, when I'm driving on the freeway from the bank to the pharmacy, I'm caught up in the most trivial things. And it's endless chatter of my mind. And all I really long is to step into a silence where I'm liberated from Pico and that chatter. And
Yeah.
suddenly I'm wide awake to the beauty and surprise of the world. When I completed the book, I sent it off to two of my monks friends that I described because I didn't want to intrude on their privacy. And I said, please, if there's anything I shouldn't say or I got wrong, please tell me and I'd be happy to take it out. And one of them wrote back to me the next day and he said, no, it's our brokenness that is the main thing we have to share. That's the gift we have to offer. The fact we're imperfect and mortal and scared. That's what brings us close to everybody that we work with. So again, that kind of humility is probably what we need in the world more than ever at a time when so many of us are tempted to say, we know everything.
I always tell people who are feeling very stressed or lost that if you want to have loving feelings, which I think we long for as much as we long for peace, then do loving things. And it's a startling way to hit the reset button if you're feeling stressed or empty or confused, is to just do a bunch of loving things and it will fill you up and soften your heart. And that is what I would teach my Sunday school kids, is what heaven feels like, a soft heart. A soft, loving heart. I think Aflame is a perfect book for these times when people not only feel afraid and cold and scared and lost, but are also so speeded up by the rhythms of life and by mostly traveling with their entire telecommunications empires with them. You don't have a iPhone, which is unfathomable to me, but you wrote somewhere, and I think this was a while ago when things were ever so slightly slower. In an age of speed, I began to think nothing could be more invigorating than going slow. In an age of distraction, nothing can feel more luxurious than paying attention. And in an age of constant movement, nothing is more urgent than sitting still. And I think that is beautiful, and that some people picking up Aflame might feel sort of worried and afraid of the instruction of moving more slowly and definitely more quietly through the world. What encouragement can you offer to do this very intimate interior travel?
It's very hard to crack our habits. You write in your book about the crack cocaine of media and the internet, which is a way of saying we're addicted to it and it's really hard to get away from it. But I think many of us are in such a hurry, we can't see what a hurry we're in. So we have to do something quite dramatic and radical to break the spell. And as soon as we do, we remember what we were missing. I try to write the book in a way that's very, very, very slow, trying to bring the reader to that clearer place inside herself where she's more herself and closer to her better self and isn't thinking in 100 directions all at once. And as you say, when I first went to this monastery, it's 1991, so I'd never heard of the internet then. There were no smartphones, no social media. The world was a lot calmer. But even then, it was such a release to spend even 72 hours, no ringing phone, no television, no clutter of information. One reason why I wrote the book now, to offer medicine I found very useful, that if only I can free myself from the rush and distraction of the world for 3 days, suddenly I see what really is important and I come back with a much clearer sense of what to do and actually what not to.
One of the reasons I was so touched by Aflame is because of the level of fear everywhere you turn right now. People are spiky with fear right now. They're exuding fear, and that does separate them from the truth of their nature. And this book is the absolute perfect medicine and antidote to fear, because it says it doesn't make fun of you for being afraid. The monks might be afraid, but I was reminded of something the wonderful Adyashanti said, which is that the part of you that sees that you're afraid isn't afraid. The part beneath the fear, the part that sees you being so afraid and tripping out, isn't afraid. It's a gentle witness, and it's breathing all along, and the choice is to decide to breathe along with it. And so I guess I just want to say that learning from silence is the subtitle of a book that helped me find my way back to the truth of my spiritual identity, which is love and breath and awareness and attention. And I think that those are probably the messages, not the messages, but the living lives of the monks who are exuding that, and who I believe you get to hang with every time you go back to this monastery, about which you write so beautifully. And I have already foisted it on everyone I know. And I'm going to recommend to people listening that they get a book today, because it's going to be an offering to the people they know who are feeling so sad or lost or afraid right now. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this latest book.
Oh, thank you, Annie. I mean, thank you for all the time and heart and care you put into reading it and sharing those lovely words. It's true that when I read the audio version of the book a couple of months ago, I noticed that the words that kept coming up again and again, in spite of myself almost, were love, light, joy, and gold. And so I think that's what I have got from spending 33 years with these monks.